What's up, you guys? I'm Dan. This is Frugal Not Cheap. Back in 2022, the CapitalOne Duo was my preferred credit card strategy. Is this combination of the CapitalOne Venture X and the Savor One card still my top pick for a Akeeper card setup for travel? I noticed the annual fee for my CapitalOne Venture X card came through recently, and they got me thinking, anytime I see one of these things, it's a good opportunity to reassess and make sure that the current strategy is still the best. So let's see if this combination of the CapitalOne Venture X and the Savor One card from CapitalOne are still the best strategy for me here in 2024. So first, the key points about these two cards. We'll look at the CapitalOne Savor One first. This is a zero annual fee card that also has zero foreign transaction fees. This is a big deal when we're talking about travel cards. It also provides 3% cash back on a few different categories. You've got dining, entertainment, groceries, and streaming. Then we have the Venture X card, which has a $395 annual fee, but has a lot of ways to make up for that fee. We'll look at that in more detail later on in the video, but for now I'll say that this provides 2% cash back on almost everything, so that's a really nice baseline. And then it also provides 5% back on airline tickets and 10% back on hotels and rental cars. Now, strictly speaking, this isn't really cash back. What you get are basically miles, but you can redeem them at the rate of 1 point to 1 cent to cover past travel purchases. So to me, they really are basically the same as cash back. So of course, which credit card strategy is going to make the most sense for you is going to depend a lot on, what your preferences are, but also what your spending level is. Given that my budget is relatively low, I think still, even though it has become more inflated in recent years, this setup seems to make a lot of sense. Whereas if I was a higher spender, it might make more sense to look at other combinations that we'll talk about later. In any case, here you can see my budget's just a little bit over $36,000. A lot of this, though, is rent. So if you take out that $22,000 or so, then we're left with about $14,100 that I can try to get some, points back on for different categories. So you can see here, I'm getting that 3% back using the CapitalOne on the dining, entertainment, groceries, and streaming. And then I'm using the CapitalOne Venture X for everything else, getting a little bit of extra points on travel. For me, travel really is airline tickets, so that's at the rate of 5%. And not at the higher rate of 10% that you get on hotels. As you can see, I end up earning about $192 if I follow my budget on the Venture X card, and another $189 on the Savor One card. That gives a total of $381, which, goes quite far into making up the annual fee of $395, but then why would I just want to break even? That wouldn't make sense. I do want to point out, by the way, that, there might be some odd things with the timing, but basically, according to my records, I actually overspent in a lot of these categories and ended up earning more like $700 in rewards between these two cards in 2022. So again, getting $381 in cash back or whatever, basically, is pretty good, but we could do that without an annual fee with other systems. So why am I using this particular duo? Well, first off, you get a $300 travel credit per year. This has been a little bit of a downgrade from years past for the Venture X. Another reason to take a minute and take stock. Whereas beforehand, the travel credit was something that you would apply after the fact, and so that you'd book a flight and then apply the travel credit to that, and so you'd still earn the points on that travel credit. Now it is more like a coupon code or a discount that's applied when you book the travel expense, and so then you don't earn the points on that. So there's a little bit of a loss here compared to the way it used to be. Not a huge deal, but still a little bit of a downgrade. In any case, though, that's $300 already, so that's increasing our net benefit quite a bit here. On top of that, we also have global entry. This comes out to about $20 a year for the amount of time that it's good for, and I value that at about 50%. It's nice to have, but it's not a huge deal, and so the actual value to me on an annual basis is $10. Then we've got Priority Pass. This is a $99 value. Again, I value this quite a bit, but not enough to go out and buy it outright, probably if I didn't have the card. So with a 50% discount, that's worth $49.50 to me. Here we also have a little bit of a downgrade. I think at the beginning when the Venture X launched, you could get restaurants included in Priority Pass. Now, unlike with the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you don't get restaurants But, there are some other reasons why CapitalOne Venture X is still a great card for lounge access. You still get access to Plaza Premium lounges as well. But more importantly, you'll have access to Capital One's own lounges. And there's a really, really great one here in DFW. And there's another one also in Washington, D.C. And I think one more in Colorado as well. Now we're at about $360 in value. So again, just on these ones, we've also almost recouped the annual fee. But to kick it over the line, you also get an anniversary bonus of $100 worth of miles. It's 10,000 miles on your anniversary. Again, I value these one for one because I can use them to cover travel expenses, and so that's worth $100 to me. So here we have a total value of $460, less the $395 annual fee. We're up $64.50 before we apply all of the rewards points, and adding those in, the setup is worth $445.74 to me if I spend according to my budget. There are some other perks that you can take advantage of. They have a subscription to something called Prior through November of this year. They also give you a 6-month Cultivist membership. I did take advantage of that. There's also like a wine membership, which is supposed to be valued at over $100, but I don't drink, so not important for me. Then you get a Hertz President Circle. I actually haven't had an opportunity to use that yet, and I've had the card for 2 years, but what are you gonna do? This one is more important to me. There is also cell phone protection up to $800 as long as you use the Venture X card to pay for your phone bill. And then again, you have those Capital One lounges, which are really, really great. One big perk here, if you live in the DFW area, is that Capital One lounge at the airport. It's awesome. So overall, I would say that this setup really is still a no-brainer for me at about $450 in value, even after applying my personal discount rate. But of course, we should consider the competition. So if I were to step up a little bit and pay a slightly higher annual fee, you've got the Chase Sapphire Reserve. I have had this card twice in the past, and it especially makes sense if you're going to do the sign-up bonus. So currently, as of this filming in late mid-March, they're offering 60,000 bonus points after spending $4,000 within 3 months. And so that would be worth about $900 for travel. So a pretty good deal, but this is something that you can only do every 24 months, I think, something like that. So not something that I can take advantage of just yet. But this card does have a $550 annual fee with $300 in travel credits, leaving with a net of $250 that you have to make up in other perks, and then also maybe some points using the ecosystem. There are ways to use the different Chase Freedom cards and what have you in order to gain quite a bit of value, because you can transfer those points to this card and then get 1.5x on that. However, given the amount that I spend, the Capital One Duo setup is still better for me. Next, if we want to spend a little bit more on the annual fee, you've got the American Express Platinum card. Right now, they have a really large welcome offer, at least the one that I'm seeing online. It's 150,000 membership rewards points if you spend $8,000 within the first 6 months. The card does have an annual fee of $695, but provides a lot of other benefits in order to try to make that up. For instance, there's $200 in Uber Cash, $240 in digital entertainment credits, a $200 hotel credit, and a $200 airline credit. If the things that it's providing credits for were really useful and valuable to me, then this card might make sense. But personally for me, the fee just isn't justified given my spend, where I can make, again, some $450 net using the Capital One Duo instead. Do check out my resources link. It does have a couple of spreadsheets, one where you can see all the math that I did in today's video, and then you could also tweak it and put in your budget categories and see how you'd come out as well. With that said, this Capital One Duo is still completely a no-brainer for me when it comes to a travel credit card setup using Akeeper cards. So again, not looking at just those sign-up bonuses. If you are looking to sign up for the CapitalOne Venture X card, you would get 75,000 miles as a sign-up bonus once you spend $4,000 within the first 3 months. Big disclaimer for all these sign-up bonuses, by the way, is I would never change my spending in order to try to meet them. All that I do personally is pay my rent using them, and yes, there's a fee to do that, but the rate of return is still quite positive given the size of the sign-up bonus. So make sure you do the math yourself. In any case, if you want the card, there is a link, a referral link in the description below. It would be one way to support the channel if you like. Another way would be, if you like today's video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.